Al-Aqsa Mosque, or Bayt al-Maqdis, yet it is the third holiest mosque in Islam, located in the Old City of Jerusalem. Al-Aqsa Mosque was built 40 years after the Kaaba. It is located in the same compound as the Dome of the Rock, the Dome of the Rock, and the Dome of the Prophet. The entire site, including the Dome of the Rock, is called the Haram al-Sharif. The site is also known as the Temple Mount and is considered sacred in Judaism. According to Islamic tradition, Muhammad traveled from the Grand Mosque to the Al-Aqsa Mosque on the night of the Ascension, and from there he ascended to heaven. 12:13-14. According to historian Ibn Taymiyyah, the name of the entire place of worship built by Solomon is actually Masjid al-Aqsa. 15. Muhaddiths, scholars of hadith, agree that the entire place of worship was built by the Islamic prophet Solomon, which was later destroyed. 16 Muslims believe that since its construction, it has been used as a place of worship for many prophets, including Jesus in Christianity. This place is the first qibla, direction of prayer for Muslims. The Kaaba became the new qibla after the revelation of verses of the Quran after the Hijra. 23. Today, the Al-Aqsa Mosque refers to the qibla. The mosque is a combination of the Marwani Mosque and the Buraq Mosque, 3, 24, which are located within the four walls of the Haram al-Sharif. 25. Caliph Umar built a mosque on the site of the present mosque. The mosque was later rebuilt and expanded during the reign of the Umayyad Caliph Abdul Malik. This renovation was completed in 705 AD during the reign of his son, Caliph al-Walid the First. After the mosque was destroyed by an earthquake in 746 AD, it was rebuilt by the Abbasid Caliph al-Mansur. His successor al-Mahdi later rebuilt it. After another earthquake in 1033 AD, the mosque was damaged and rebuilt by the Fatimid Caliph Ali az-Zahir, which has survived to the present day. 26. Additional parts were added to the mosque during the reign of various rulers. These include the dome, courtyard, pulpit, mihrab, and interior structure. After the Crusaders captured Jerusalem in 1099, they used the mosque as a palace and the Dome of the Rock, located in the same compound, as a church. It was used again as a mosque after Sultan Saladin reconquered Jerusalem. It underwent various renovations under the Ayyubids, Mamluks, Ottomans, the Supreme Muslim Council, and Jordan. Currently, the Old City is under Israeli control, but the mosque is under the care of the Jordanian-Palestinian-led Islamic Waqf. The Islamic prophet Abraham was also establishing a place of worship in Jerusalem. 40 years after the construction of the Kaaba, 2170 BCE, he expanded it further, which later became known as the Bayt al-Maqdis. As it was the farthest place of worship from the Masjid al-Haram, Abraham also referred to it as the Masjid al-Aqsa. His son Isaac also worshipped here, but he, like his father, made the pilgrimage to the Kaaba. Later, Isaac's second son, Jacob, expanded it as a place of worship for the monotheists of the region. Later, Solomon built and beautified the structure of this place of worship, the Second Temple, 1004 BCE. Muslims believe that he employed the jinn shani for this work, and Allah caused a fountain of molten copper to flow. Then the Babylonian emperor Nebuchadnezzar II destroyed the structures built by Solomon, 1004 BCE, 586. The site was expanded during the reign of King Herod the Great, 208 BC. The mosque stands on a platform that Herod's engineers built to overcome the terrain. During the Second Temple period, the Royal Stoa, administrative building, stood on the site of the present mosque. 45. It was then destroyed and burned by the Romans in 70 AD, converting it into a place of worship for the god Jupiter. In 315 AD, the Roman Empire, which had converted to Christianity, turned it into a garbage dump, and even the Jews did not consider it a holy place at that time. 37. It was once thought that the Nia Church, built during the reign of Emperor Justinian, was located on the site of the present-day Al-Aqsa Mosque. However, its ruins were discovered in 1973 in the southern part of the Jewish quarter. 4647. Analysis of wooden beams and panels removed during renovations in the 1930s showed that they were made of Lebanese cedar and cypress. Radiocarbon dating tests have shown that some of them date back to the 9th century. Umayyad construction. The current structure dates from the Umayyad period. The second caliph, Umar ibn al-Khattab, was the first to build a mosque here. Several Muslim scholars, such as Mujir al-Din al-Ulaymi, Jalal al-Din al-Suyuti, and Shams al-Din al-Muqaddasi, state that Caliph Abdul Malik rebuilt and expanded the mosque in 690 CE. He also built the Dome of the Rock. 49. 50 Abdul Malik moved the central axis of the mosque about 40 meters, 130 feet, to the west as part of his overall plan for the Haram al-Sharif. The old axis is marked by a mihrab known as the Mihrab of Umar. Abdul Malik had his architects align the new mosque with the rock, emphasizing the Dome of the Rock. On the other hand, according to Criswell, Abdul Malik's son Al-Walid Thrifrid rebuilt the mosque, and workmen from Damascus worked on it. Most scholars agree that the reconstruction of the mosque began during Abdul Malik's reign and was completed during Al-Walid's. In 713-14, several earthquakes damaged Jerusalem and destroyed the eastern part of the mosque. This necessitated a reconstruction during Al-Walid's reign. Earthquake and Reconstruction Edit. In 746, the Al-Aqsa Mosque was damaged by an earthquake. 4 years later, a Safa overthrew the Umayyads and established the Abbasid Caliphate. The second Abbasid Caliph, Al-Mansur, announced his intention to rebuild the mosque in 753, which was completed in 771. In 774, a second earthquake destroyed much of the mosque, except for the southern part, which was under Al-Mansur's renovation. 50-52. It was rebuilt by his successor, Caliph al-Mahdi, in 780. He reduced the length and increased the width. 50-53. Al-Mahdi's renovation is the first written account of the work, which describes the work. 54. The Arab geographer Shams al-Din al-Muqaddasi, born in Jerusalem in 985, wrote that at that time the mosque had 15 doors and 15 rows of seats, running north and south to accommodate worshippers. 52. Another earthquake in 1033 damaged the mosque. The Fatimid Caliph Ali az-Zahir rebuilt and renovated the mosque between 1034 and 1036. The number of rows of 15 was reduced to 7 to accommodate the worshippers. 52. Az-Zahir built 4 arcades and a corridor in the central chamber, which now serves as the foundation of the mosque. The Persian geographer Nasir Khusrau described the Al-Aqsa Mosque during his visit in 1047 CE. The sacred precinct is situated in the eastern part of Jerusalem, and you enter it by a large and beautiful gate, passing through the market of this quarter. After passing through this gate, you will be on the right of 2 large rows of columns, riwaq, each of which has between 9 and 20 marble pillars, the tops and bases of which are of colored marble, and the joints are of lead. On the tops of the pillars are raised arches which are built of stone without lime or cement, and each arch is made of not more than 5 or 6 blocks of stone. These rows of columns lead to the Maksura. In 1099, during the First Crusade, the Crusaders captured Jerusalem. They renamed the mosque Solomon's Temple and the Dome of the Rock the Templum Domini, Dome of God. The Dome of the Rock was then used as a church under the care of the Augustinians, while the Al-Aqsa Mosque was used as a royal palace and stables. In 1119, it became the headquarters of the Knights Templar. During this time, the mosque underwent some structural changes. These included the expansion of the north porch, the addition of additional apses, and the construction of a dividing wall. A new monastery and church were built, along with some structures. 58. The Templars built arched extensions to the west and east of the building, the western one now serving as a women's prayer hall, and the eastern one as an Islamic museum. After the Ayyubids under Saladin conquered Jerusalem, several renovations were made to the Al-Aqsa Mosque. 5960. Within a week of the conquest of Jerusalem, the toilets and granaries that the Crusaders had built were removed to prepare the mosque for Friday prayers. The floor was covered with expensive carpets, and the interior was perfumed with rose water and incense. Saladin's predecessor, the Zengi Sultan Nur ad-Din Zengi, ordered the construction of a pulpit of ivory and wood in 1168-69, which was completed after his death. The pulpit of Nur ad-Din was placed in the mosque by Saladin. 62. The Ayyubid Sultan al-Mu'azzam of Damascus built a northern porch with 3 gates in 1218. In 1345, the Mamluks under Al-Kamil Shaman added 2 more rows and gates to the east. 52. The Ottomans did not make any major changes to the mosque after they took power in 1517, but the entire Haram al-Sharif was transformed. During this time, the fountain of Qasim Pasha, 1527, was built. The Raranj Bridge was renovated, and 3 freestanding domes were built. All these structures were commissioned by the governors of Jerusalem. 63. The sultans expanded the minaret. 63. In 1816, the governor Suleiman Pasha al-Adil renovated the mosque due to its dilapidated condition. Modern era. The first renovation of the 20th century took place in 1922. The Supreme Muslim Council, under the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, Muhammad Amin al-Husseini, commissioned the Turkish architect Mimar Kamaluddin Bey to renovate the Al-Aqsa Mosque and its surroundings. The council also commissioned British architects, Egyptian engineering experts, and local officials to contribute to and supervise the renovation. The renovation included strengthening the mosque's ancient Umayyad foundations, strengthening the interior columns, adding new beams, building a podium, preserving the arches and the interior of the main dome, rebuilding the southern wall, and replacing the timbers of the central aisle with concrete slabs. The plaster-covered Fatimid mosaics and inscriptions were restored. The arches were embellished with gold and green-tinted gypsum, and the wooden beams were replaced with brass. Some of the stained glass windows were restored, retaining their Abbasid and Fatimid designs. 66. The mosque was damaged by earthquakes in 1927 and 1937, but was repaired in 1938 and 1942. On 21st August 1969, the mosque was set on fire by Australian tourist Dennis Michael Rohan. Rohan was a member of the Worldwide Church of God, an evangelical Christian group. 67. He believed that by burning down the Al-Aqsa Mosque, he would hasten the second coming of Jesus and pave the way for the construction of the Jewish temple. Rohan was subsequently committed to a psychiatric hospital. 68. This incident led to a meeting of Muslim countries and